Happy Monday, Bulldog fans, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Bully Soccer Bites. As always, I'm here with Coach Armstrong. Coach Armstrong, how you doing after a big tie on Friday?
Doing good, Chris. Thanks. Yeah, got back to the training ground today, so had a good training session. Girls are excited for the week ahead, and we're really sharp this morning. So, yeah, coming off a result on Friday and good team chemistry so far this week. So, looking forward to it.
So before we really dive into that result, I was able to be there Friday night. Did a great job. Our fans did a phenomenal job social distancing, but we still had so many fans there that it looked like it was almost another SEC soccer match. How cool was that?
I mean, so much work goes into that. There was credit to everybody that was involved. We had people like yourself that were volunteering at the game to make sure that we could get the most amount of people there, making sure everybody stayed safe. So can't thank Sean Taylor, Jay Logan, and lots of other people. There's too many to mention just to provide that atmosphere. The fans were awesome. We talk about it all the time, how important they are to our girls and our program. They were out there. They were loud. They were ringing the cowbells. They stayed, thankfully, all the way through to the end, to the very last second. So from that standpoint, it was awesome. And just to have that energy on our campus again, with it being the first sporting event in such a long time, we were privileged, we were blessed, and extremely thankful.
Kind of all along since this pandemic has hit, the theme has almost been adaptability. Who's been able to adapt the best? And that was something I noticed. You had Miranda Carrasco in a new position. You pushed Nia Johnson to the back. Positions they haven't played for you before in your time here. You've been here for two years and a couple springs. How important was that to have leaders step up and play positions they weren't comfortable with?
Massive. We to say we faced adversity last week is that underestimates it. And we went through a lot as a group and couldn't be prouder of the girls and their mental toughness. And you brought up Miranda and Nia. They did an unbelievable job fitting in a short space of time. The coaching staff, Nick and Brian in particular, did a great job in preparing them, so they felt confident in their preparation. And then obviously they executed it. But you also had Chris Malabranch that was playing outside back for the first time. You had Oni Echegini that was slotting in out wide for the first time, for starting there for quite a while. You had Macy Hodge starting for the first time. So, it was just a total team effort, and couldn't be more proud of the girls and the coaching staff for the preparation and the execution from that standpoint.
And, speaking of execution, it seemed like on an offensive standpoint, you were able to complete a lot of passes, some connections here and there. Gave up an early goal. Talked earlier about how important an early goal would be for you guys. But once again, extremely impressive how even down to the last second, it always seemed to be, all right, a goal is going to come from Mississippi State at some point. It took until the last second, literally, but it was really impressive, I thought, at least from a fan standpoint, how you were able to fight that whole way. How is it tough in a situation like that to get a team to really rally together for the full 90 minutes when things don't go their way and what is it, the 5th or 6th minute of the match?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about the character of this group and the confidence they have in one another and the belief in each other and more importantly, how willing they are to fight for one another. So we've unfortunately conceded first in both games so far, but as a coaching staff, we never feel we're out of the game because the players are so intent on responding. And, to give up the goal that we did was disappointing for sure. I know the players were upset about it, but straight from the kickoff, after we conceded, we were right back in the game. And I've never been part of a buzzer beater before, to literally play all the way through to the last second says everything about this group, the willingness to fight and compete and battle for one another. So another really proud moment. And when you've got that as a coach, it's something you got so much to work on, so much to work with, sorry. So from that standpoint, it was awesome. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it now. So really proud of him.
From a timing standpoint, collegiate soccer plays a little differently with the countdown as opposed to counting up. What is before that last second goal? What was the latest you've ever seen a goal scored like that?
Probably 5 seconds, something along those lines. I've seen a couple of those, but literally where it leaves the girl's foot with 1 second left to go, I definitely have never seen that before. So hopefully we won't have to go all the way to the wire next time in the next game. Hopefully we can score a little bit earlier than that.
and hopefully he can get out without having to play 110 minutes. The first 2 games of the year, both played 110 minutes of soccer. Aaron Duvall, his work has really been shown. It seems like there's been great fitness levels. People in the back defensively playing 110 minutes, 106 minutes. Is it different this year that you only have 1 match a week? Is it you feel a little bit better playing your players 110 minutes, or is it still just a grind to play a game that long?
It's definitely still a grind, and, full credit to Aaron and Katie Lee, for having the players ready to be able to do that. Clearly if you have 2 games back to back after playing 110 minutes and then having to turn around on Sunday, that makes life a lot more difficult. But I think you've also got to put in mind that these players, the reason why we're playing 1 game a week is, they were shut down from March to June. And even then you were limited in what you could do in small groups, et cetera, et cetera. So, when the SEC made this decision, that it was absolutely the correct decision, because this is how soccer should be, particularly when you've had the amount of time off that the girls have had. So it's definitely still a grind, and you give, credit to a lot of the players and the medical staff for getting us through that. But it would be a lot worse if we had to turn around and play again on Sunday. That's for sure.
For sure. I'd be remiss if I didn't speak about Maddie Anderson, freshman, playing keeper for you, played every second, has given up 2 goals, and both of those 2 goals are probably going to end up on a highlight reels for those other team. How impressive has it been for a freshman to step in right away and be able to take on a role that's so important in a soccer team?
Yeah, we're blessed that we have 3 really good goalkeepers. So it was a really good fight. Kat Stratton and Peyton York do a great job with our goalkeepers. And making sure they're getting better every day. And Maddie won the job, and as a freshman, she doesn't seem like a freshman. She brings leadership to that back line. If somebody's not doing their job, regardless of who it is, she's going to tell them. She's come up big in big moments. You look at Auburn, the save that she made against them was unbelievable. And she did everything that she needed to do against Alabama. That goal that they scored was a really good goal, obviously. That she probably couldn't do anything about, but she's humble. She works hard to get better every single day, but it's not just the shot stopping. It's the communication. It's the staying connected with the back line, her distribution. She's going to be a really, really good goalkeeper that we get the pleasure to work with for 4 years. So she's unbelievable. And in fact, she got announced as SEC Defensive Player of the Week this week. So, it's nice for her to get that recognition for all of the hard work.
That is awesome. I noticed first match, you were able to play 15 players. You got 17 in last Friday. Was that by design? Or you have a lot more depth on the team this year, and it seems like you've been able to exploit it a little bit. Is that something you look to do going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Kai Burrows that played her first minutes. You had Elma Caslin that played her first minutes. Berna Johansdottir that played, if I pronounce that right, she played her first minutes. So, yeah, we've got more depth. And, obviously it's all about how they're performing in training. And they all had a good week. And I felt we could have gone maybe even a little bit deeper, So we're excited about the depth, and we're excited about the work rate that those guys are putting in. So you never know. You might see some even newer faces this Friday.
Excited. Usually I watch the match up in the box, maybe on the berm. I was able to watch it behind one of the goals. Question for you. Does Nick Zimmerman ever lose his voice?
I wish. No, he doesn't lose his voice. I think he was probably as close as ever on Friday, though. So I think that was the ultimate test. If he didn't lose it after Friday, then he's probably never going to lose it.
Let's look forward to this week, Friday, 7 p.m. against the rival, Ole Miss. It's one of those games I feel like you don't want to use all the cliches, but throw the records off the table, especially in a year like this year. Seems to always be a battle. Last year, another one of those 110-minute drag-out fights. What are you looking forward to this Friday?
I mean, it's obviously the most important game of the season, simply because it's our next game. You can never look too far beyond, and we're going to prepare for Ole Miss just like we would any other game. Clearly, it's a rivalry game, so anything can happen, and it usually throws out some crazy moments. There is a trophy to play for, which is different than most games, but our job as a coaching staff, the girls are excited, they're motivated, but we've just got to continue with our regular routine and make sure we don't drift away from that for any reason. and just make sure that we're better this week than we were last week. And Ole Miss are a good team. They got a good coaching staff, and like I said, we're excited to play, and just the opportunity to play is something that we're thankful for.
Speaking of coaching staffs, I've seen throughout social media, talking to you, it seems as if you have a lot of good friends in the league. You play Ole Miss or your rivals, but you get along with that coaching staff. The Alabama coaching staff and you seem to have a great deal of mutual respect for each other. Obviously, your mentor was Karen at Auburn. Like, with a league like this where they always say it just means more, how cool is it to be able to, communicate with other people in the league, especially in the West? It seems like every time we play a school in the West, you have a friend on the other staff.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that there's so many great coaches in the league that I have a lot of respect for. Hopefully they have a lot of respect for me too. I think the SEC, we're blessed that everybody does it the right way. Once the whistle kicks off, obviously all gloves are off and we're trying to beat one another. But before the game and after the game, we're going to say good job, well done, and best of luck moving forward. So, with the Ole Miss coaching staff, Matt Mott was at Auburn. We have kind of a similar little pathway because he was at Auburn like I was, and then he was in Texas like I was. So, our paths have crossed along the way. So, but yeah, it's a great coaching tree in the league, and that's what makes the SEC what it is. So,
folks, if you have the chance, if you're around, try to make your way out to Oxford, 7 p.m. If you can't, you can catch us on ESPNU. Coach, you have any final words?
No, once again, thank you to all the fans. We'll be back at home next Sunday against LSU, so keep an eye out for all the announcements for that. But we appreciate all of your support and can't wait to see you again. And Hail State.
Thank you for listening. Hail State.